Hey everybody, welcome back to Dungeon Maker here on the World of Madness server. So I asked people what precisely they thought I should get up to the next episode, in the previous episode, and more or less the answer was that we should come back to Hubris a little bit. So, I have a little bit of a time lapse for you first, because a great big thing has changed around here. So, without any further ado, let's hop into that. Catch you all in a moment. Yeah, I see you over there. Come on, play. Nope, you didn't play. There, now you're playing. Good. Okay, so it's gone. My secondary, my secondary mob spawner here is just completely gone. it was never really honestly complete, I'd say. I mean, I sort of like noped out of it after I realized, oh wait, slimes will never spawn up here. So we now have just this bottom section, which has been rigorously deactivated with all the torches, and we need to come to a decision on what exactly we are going to do around here. Now, the main problem with here is that because it's a swamp, it will spawn slimes, but because it's the surface and it's dark when it's spawning slimes anyways, it also spawns everything else, so skeletons, zombies, creepers, spiders, endermen, that kind of thing. Endermen are a pernicious problem around here as well, because they will just gradually, they'll just gradually pick apart all the dirt, and that messes up the waterlands, which means it would need to be built, like, out of much studio material. Anyways, but what that means is that we get a whole bunch of surplus stuff, and we get a bunch of stuff for which the system was not designed, so things tend to get bundled up into places where the slimes don't, that kind of thing. So this is good for just getting all the mobs in a large area into a much less large area, but it's not good as a slime grinder. Is there really? Yeah, I wonder how these got here. Probably a tree, I'm guessing. Well, not unlike that one, I bet. Yeah. So yeah, it works for getting just general mobs. It doesn't work so well for just getting slimes. So, I have just torn down this gigantic thing above us, but what we are going to be doing, I think, is exploiting a different mechanic for getting slimes. And that is, if we go to, I believe it is level 40, we are already just down here under level 60, so we're not very far. But if we go down here, a few more blocks, and we tear out a big area, we should be able to find some slime chunks. Let me see, level 40 is... pretty much just above here. So, lovely. And at level 40, slimes can spawn regardless of light level in certain chunks. It's about 1 in 10 of the chunk population is able to do that, and those are the slime chunks. And because they spawn regardless of light level in those chunks, we don't get any other mobs if we've lit it up, which allows us to get purely slimes out of an area. Now, unfortunately, that's a much smaller area than what we have here. We're not seeing like chunk scale pads here, but we can estimate that we'll probably see maybe a tenth of this is actually working for the same purpose. But meanwhile, we've got this big cleared out area, so we might as well put some purpose to it. So what'll happen, I believe, is that we'll have slimes underground, and then other mobs above, and then we'll just basically have a centralized location where we can get all of the mod drops together. And my current working title, which I have literally just come up with off the top of my head here, is the Hourglass. So we'll have one like nice spawner that hopefully looks a lot prettier than the last one did up here, and then the appropriate distance away from level 40, we will have a platform in the middle between the top half and the bottom half, so that when we are standing there, we are constantly getting mob spawns in both. And I'm expecting it to be a lot smaller than we currently have on this area, so what we'll do is we'll just keep the area around here lit up, or otherwise spawn free, and that will mean that all of the mob spawns in our radius get triggered in the top and the bottom half of the Hourglass. Sort of similar in concept to how the Guardian Farm works, which is the Guardian Farm is a donut shape, a torus to be precise, and once you're standing in the middle of that, all of the torus is actually ready for spawning, and of course the only thing it spawns is the occasional squid, but mostly guardians, which is gorgeous for getting guardian drops. So hopefully we'll be able to put something together nice for that. I think we'll probably be putting together something in terms of the new magma blocks for getting slimes. The only meaningful concern in that regard, though, is how we get the items off of the magma blocks. We might have to use some old chest minecart magic for that. But I am very tired, because that time-lapse alone took me through 3 different movies. The first 2 which were Spectral, and the second of which was 009RE Cyborg, which had the most infuriating ending for a movie about world-saving international cyborgs that I've ever seen, which was a pain. But Spectral was a glorious blend of the Fatal Frame series of games and Call of Duty, so I'll take that as, like, compensation, I guess. And I'm probably going to end up deforesting a bunch of areas around here, so I might as well start up here. Yeah. I say start, I've already made a whole freaking ton of trees from around here, just building pickaxes. I did come here with an iron pickaxe, but it is no longer around. I didn't bring much of any of my enchanted gear, which might seem a little bit like, oh hey, maybe that's why your time-lapse took so dang long to make. Well, yeah, but on the other hand, I'm building this mob grinder and whatnot so that I have the XP to justify routinely using enchanted items. So, not that strange. But, anyways, I have a whole bunch of engineering work to design, and if you happen to have any input on how I should build this in terms of mechanics-wise, we'll get more into the nitty-gritty of mechanics next episode, I think, because, as I say, I'm very tired. But that is our new project. So, once we've gotten a stable source of experience in order to make enchanted items, we can do a whole ton more with building the tomb at a rapid pace, because we'll have access to efficiency picks on the regular, and we'll also have regular access to slime balls so that we can continue to make sticky piston contraptions. Lovely. But with that in mind, I better get to work engineering. So, hope you've all enjoyed, and I will of course catch you all next time.